Part 105. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 1041. Chapter 1041. Leuli and Lugo were imprisoned together. The little cousin is gone, the little cousin is really gone. The little cousin locked her in a room with Nangong Lugo, patted her and walked away easily, and even locked the door. Ha, Gongkin you'd better not come back after you leave. When Gongkin Li said harsh words, Gongkin Yu hid outside the door and laughed secretly, then ran to another room to play his own game. He is so smart, of course he won't just leave. Besides, Gongkin Li never heard Nangong Lugo speak after being locked in the room. Cough cough cough. She deliberately held her throat and coughed 3 times, pretending to communicate with Nangong Lugo in the same conversational tone as before. Hey, why didn't you respond? What response is required? The tone of Nangong Lugo's rhetorical question gave Gongkin Li the illusion that he was talking to Yezikin. It's not that he is similar to Yezikin, it's just that he is very different from the previous Nangong Lugo. He has a sense of seriousness, indifference, and as if he is confident about everything. Gongkin Li was holding a feeling of anger in her heart that she couldn't get rid of. This room is in the corner. It would not be good if she banged on the door and made noise. What's more, there are guests at home today, and the Gong family cannot be laughed at. She then stretched out her hand to Nangong Lugo. Hey, that little Qian Yu has locked the door. Lend me your cell phone and I'll call the housekeeper. But Nangong Lugo told her, sorry, the phone was taken away. What, Gongkin Yu did it? Under Gongkin Li's questioning, Nangong Lugo nodded. Gongkin Yu just took away his phone on the pretext of playing games. In fact, maybe, he had some intentional intentions in his heart. Gongkin Li wandered around the room with her hands on her hips. If the two of them were locked together in the past, Nangong Lugo would probably fall asleep on the bed, teasing her, and the two of them would be in trouble for a long time. However, now, Gongkin Li keeps talking about opening the door to cover up her inner restless emotions. Nangong Lugo, on the other hand, sat upright and did not show his unruly side in front of her. Lugo, why are you so calm? It really doesn't sound like you anymore. What do I look like in your eyes? Just, it's quite fun. People will always grow during the period of growth. They continue to make multiple choices and decide which path they will take. For example, some people choose to make progress, and some people choose to degenerate. Even those who claim to be happy-go-lucky, everything they do is actually a multiple-choice question. The choice question in Nangong Lugo's sentence may mean something else. Gongkin Li felt that Nangong Lugo's words meant to tell her, since you choose to refuse, then I can only choose to alienate. She still remembered that day, when she deliberately asked Ye Weiwei, why do we have to choose to be together or refuse? Can't we always stay together as friends? How did Ye Weiwei tell her? It seems to say, the feelings you give out are like the water that is thrown out. It is difficult to collect the water. Even if it is taken back, it will not be the original water. Even if the relationship persists, it will not be the same as before. Gongkin Li has never felt as difficult as now to communicate with Nangong Lugo. What are you talking about choosing not to choose? Tell me this. You don't know that I can't understand those profound words that others say. If we don't have a mobile phone, I'll keep knocking on the door, maybe a passing servant will find us. Nangong Lugo suddenly said, don't knock on the door. Brother Lugo, please be brave and keep Leuli. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Luke Hixie. Chapter 1042. Chapter 1042. Nangong Lugo's tenderness. Gongkin Li raised her hand and was about to knock on the door when she suddenly heard Nangong Lugo calling her not to knock on the door. She really put her hands down obediently. What's wrong? Isn't Brother Gu's mother a guest at your house? If someone knocks on the door and attracts someone, he or she will find us two in the same room. It's hard to tell. Nangong Lugo explained the reasons in a leisurely manner. Every word is obviously for her benefit, but why does it sound so harsh to her now? Lugo, you seem to have changed a lot. Have it? It was obviously not like this before. She was even a little reluctant to face Nangong Lugo now. Nangong Lugo told her, Luli, things were different before and now. But I hope you can still be the same as before. The big boy who would quarrel with her, make her happy, and like to joke with her was the best and most unforgettable memory in her life. Now this Nangong Lugo seems to have become much gentler all of a sudden, losing the vigor of a big boy, becoming mature, and even more strange. Nangong Lugo told her, the way you think I look is just the way I looked in front of you before. But Li Yulai, you have never noticed how I look to other people outside. Nangong Lugo called out her nickname. As usual, the two words added a lot of unfamiliarity. With their relationship reaching this point, Gongkin Li took a breath of worry and felt her whole body trembling. Lugo, are you angry? Angry that I didn't promise you? Won't. This is the first time that the two of them have officially mentioned their love face to face. Nangong Lugo's smile seemed to be self-deprecating. Actually, I never expected you to agree from the beginning. What I did that day was just forcing myself to give up on you and end that impossible relationship. It's good for you and me. These true words were carved into Gongkin Li's heart like a sharp knife. Her back was turned to Nangong Lugo, and neither of them could see the other's expression. She stretched out her hand to wipe the corners of her eyes, and the moist feeling disappeared on her fingertips. Lugo, I don't know what to do. I just feel that I feel very uncomfortable. She covered her heart and spoke her truest feelings intermittently. It is very uncomfortable, the kind of discomfort that is so overwhelming that you can't breathe. Nangong Lugo finally stood up. After a few light footsteps, Nangong Lugo was already standing in front of Gongkin Li. Seeing tears hanging from the corners of her eyes, he subconsciously wanted to reach out and wipe away her tears, but suddenly remembered his identity. Nangong Lugo comforted her and said, Li Yulai, you will be fine. You are just used to my company, but you will eventually choose the person you like, and that person will be the person who will stay with you for the rest of your life. Although I have quarreled with you before, what I want to see most is your bright smile. You just haven't gotten used to losing a friend suddenly, but don't worry, if you run into trouble in the future, I will try my best to help you. You have to learn to grow up in the future, so, don't cry. Nangong Lugo's words were as if someone who was about to leave for a long journey was explaining to her what was going to happen in the future. Gongkin Li's eyes became redder and redder after hearing these words. Guchensi is a very responsible man. If he really loves you, he will definitely treat you well. Now, your wish is finally coming true. I sincerely wish you happiness. Brother Lugo is really gentle, a very gentle and affectionate man. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1043. Chapter 1043 I won't get married. Gongkin Li shook her head. She didn't know what she wanted to deny. Nangong Lugo suddenly took out a key and unlocked it from the inside. Go out, don't let others guess about our relationship anymore. Nangong Lugo opened the door, turned and went to the next door to pick up his little cousin, and then got his mobile phone back. Kinyu, you are naughty again. Sister. Under Nangong Lugo's gaze, the little cousin swallowed the word husband back into his stomach. The little cousin said that he was very sad because he knew that the relationship between the two did not develop as he thought, and he was very sad. Kinyu, if you use the same excuse to trick me next time, I won't take you out to play. No, brother Lugo, I was wrong, can't you do it? Come on, let's go out and play games. He is the only little boy in the Gong family, and he likes Nangong Luo very much. Gong Kinyu took Nangong Luo out. When passing through the hall, he saw that Mrsku was still there. Mrsku naturally also learned about Nangong Luo and Nangong Luo's proposal when she was researching things about Gong Kinli. Mrsku didn't care very much, because she felt that since Gong Kinli rejected Nangong Luo in public, it meant that she didn't care much about Nangong Luo. Nangong Luo's character is still very guaranteed, and he has basically not had close contact with Gong Kinli since then. Not long after, Mrsku also left. Mrs. Gong came to Gong Kinli with a face full of joy and said, "My dear daughter, you have been able to keep the clouds clear and the moon shine." It's not that Mrs. Argong is very satisfied with Gu Jinxi's marriage, but that she cares about her daughter very much. She knows that her daughter likes Gu Jinxi, so the Gu family will be very happy to discuss this marriage. Now, the big stone in my heart can finally be let go. Mom, what are you talking about? Mrs. Gong smiled brightly. Why, didn't you hear everything upstairs? There are only two of us here, why should we be embarrassed to talk to Mom? I was worried that you would be sad if you didn't get your request, but it's fine now. Gong Kinli sighed immediately with a helpless expression. Mom, I won't really get married. Mrs. Gong didn't understand the meaning of her words. I know you young people like to play, but Gu Jinxi is not young anymore. If you really like him, you can't hold him back any longer. Mom, I don't want to get married. Don't you like Gu Jinxi again? I have no idea. My daughter, you didn't realize that you liked someone else belatedly, did you? Gong Kinli lowered her eyes and said, no. Mrs. Gong was very upset. What was originally thought to be a happy event for everyone suddenly turned out like this. Mom, it's not as simple as you think. Gu Jinxi doesn't like me, and I don't want to marry anyone. The reason why I didn't stop him just now was to save the face of the two families. I think Gu Jinxi also I will refuse. Her relationship with Gu Jinxi was not at all what Mrsku said. Her mind is very confused right now, and she can't delve into anything about love or love. Mom, I'm sorry for causing you trouble, but I really don't have those things on my mind right now. I just want to work hard. I'll talk about the rest after a while. She needs environment and time to calm down. Her heart was already in chaos. Actually, her emotional line is quite clear. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1044. Chapter 1044. Where is Li Yuli's heart? Only when she went to work on Monday, Gong Kinli heard the news that the director was injured. She seemed to have injured her leg while trying to save a child crossing the road. As subordinates, they all want to express their condolences. What a coincidence, the person who took over the treatment department turned out to be Gu Jinxi. That's right. Fang Yu had said before that they seemed to have some complicated relationship. She didn't remember the specific relationship. She only knew that she had bumped into Gu Jinxi again. When I wanted to get close to Gu Jinxi in the past, I missed all kinds of opportunities and could never find the opportunity. She is in a state of confusion right now, and she keeps running into Gu Jinxi wherever she goes. This is such a wonderful fate. When she went to visit the director with several friends from the bureau, she found that the director was worthy of being the director. Even though he was injured, he had a good attitude. They brought fruits and flowers to them, and the director praised them for being smart. I'm tired of hearing these official words. She originally planned to leave with Fang Yu and the others, but for some reason, the director named her and asked her to stay. Gong Kinli pointed her finger at herself, and the director nodded. Everyone else has left, only Gong Kinli is left. Gong Kinli felt a little panicked. She tried her best to think about whether she had made any mistakes recently. Kinli, sit down. At first, hearing the director calling her name so kindly, Gong Kinli sat upright. Director, Is there anything you want me to do? No, no. What about you? Why do you want to leave her here by name? Does it look good sitting in the ward? To be honest, I have some connections with the Gu family, and I have also heard about you and Gu Jinsi. Although I am usually serious in the police station, I am actually quite open-minded in private. I am not your boss now. I'm talking to you as an elder, don't be nervous. The director directly highlighted the key points. Gong Qinli smiles but doesn't smile. What does it mean to not be nervous when talking as an elder? When she heard about things related to Gu Jinsi, she became even more nervous. Okay. Because of Gu Jinsi's past indifference, his marriage has become a major concern for the Gu family. Even if Mrs. Gu knew that her son had done something out of sympathy for her, almost everyone in the Gu family thought that Gu Jinsi and Gong Qinli had some kind of close relationship. But Gong Qinli still doesn't know about the scandal between herself and Gu Jinsi. She is still planning to explain it clearly to the director. Director, Dr. Gu and I are actually just friends. Maybe. Perhaps in Gu Jinsi's heart, she is not even considered a friend. At most, he is Yezikin's friend, just an acquaintance. But just because she paused for a few seconds, the director had already figured out the follow-up. Maybe it will happen. You young people's feelings don't just come out in every situation. The director did not tell Gong Qinli that in fact, everyone in the Gu family was entrusted by Mrs. Gu, and he must not let go of any woman who has a relationship with Gu Jinsi and can develop into a daughter-in-law. Gong Qinli seemed to have become the prey of the Gu family, and the elders in the family were eager to pack up the little girl and take her home to Gu Jinsi. Gong Qinli can't stand it anymore. Director, I still have some things to do at home, so I'm going to take the first step. I'll come to visit you another day. Director, have a good rest. Gong Qinli acted as she spoke, then stood up and walked toward the door. She reached out and opened the door. What a coincidence. Who is the cold-faced man standing at the door if he's not Gu Jinsi? End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1045. Chapter 1045, The Bad Relationship with Gu Jinsi. My place is very nice, Akin, please take Qinli out for a walk. When the director saw Gu Jinsi standing at the door, he immediately waved to him and refused to enter. Gu Jinsi asked without emotion, why should I take her around? Gong Qinli also twitched the corner of her mouth, it's not like she's a guest. What's going to happen in the hospital? It's obvious that the director is trying to get her to be with Gu Jinsi. Gu Jinsi was extraordinarily calm and said directly to the director, since you're fine, I'll leave first. Since he said he didn't need to read it, he didn't. Of course, Gu Jinsi didn't take Gong Qinli around as the director thought. He said he would leave and left alone. If it had been in the past, Gong Qinli would definitely have entangled him and used the director's words to make fun of him, but now, she actually felt relieved. Haven't she changed her mind? Before, I was very sure that I liked Gu Jinsi, but now it became a pressure in my heart. Gong Qinli got into the elevator and selected the LG building, which was about to leave the hospital. As soon as she stepped out of the elevator and turned the corner, she saw a child falling down the stairs next to her. She ran out without hesitation to pick up the child. The child didn't cry at first, but after he was picked up, he suddenly cried loudly and clamored to find his grandpa. Little friend, don't cry. Where is your grandpa? My sister will take you to find him. As a people's policeman, it is her duty to help children find their parents. Fortunately, this child was easy to communicate with. When asked where his grandfather was, he reported the VIP ward. The hospital has map directions. Following the map, she quickly found the ward. Then Gong Qinli was convinced. The fate between people is really amazing. She was just kind enough to send this wrestling kid over to find her grandpa so that she could meet Gu Jinsi. How come it's everywhere, she muttered in a low voice, and suddenly noticed Guchensi shooting an indifferent gaze towards her. Gong Qinli lowered her head to cover up. She brought the child in and said goodbye to him. "Child, this is your grandfather's ward. I found it. My sister is gone." She was about to leave, but the child hugged her thigh and said, "Sister, thank you." Taking one look at the height difference, well, she understood. It does not matter. Send the person, she is really leaving. She's leaving. Daughter. Daughter. Suddenly, the old man's vicissitudes of call came from behind. He knew clearly that he was not calling her, but he still turned around and glanced at her. But just one glance. She was targeted. The old man was unconscious and thought she was his daughter, and kept making noises to wake her up. Gong Qinli is a soft-hearted person. She winked at Guchensi. Guchensi walked up to her and gave a simple explanation. His daughter is very busy at work and left the old man in the hospital for treatment and has no time to visit. The old man is not very conscious. Gong Qinli understands. She was standing here, and the old man raised his hand tremblingly, trying to hold her. Gong Qinli couldn't bear to turn around and leave, but she didn't know what to do. Then what should I do? Whatever. Originally, I asked Guchensi for advice, but I didn't expect that as the attending physician, Guchensi would be so indifferent to his patients. Ha, so abominable. You are such a person, a heartless representative. Gong Qinli still couldn't bear to break the old man's dream, so she pretended to say yes. The old man was very happy. I knew that my daughter is filial. When Gong Qinli was about to leave, the old man asked, "Daughter, will you come tomorrow?" End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1046. Chapter 1046. You are my girlfriend and I will marry you. Gong Qinli felt that he was a bit of a bad guy, for he would actually agree to a stranger playing the role of his daughter. But she had already agreed, and the morality in her heart did not allow her to go back on it. So Gong Qinli started running to the hospital after get off work every day, staying there for half an hour to an hour before leaving. And every day, she must meet Guchensi. I don't know if it's because the two of them have closer contact, but Guchensi's expression seems to be a little less indifferent when he sees her now. "Hey, Dr. Gu, I want to ask when that grandpa will feel better." Although the grandfather recognized her as his daughter, based on their real ages, she should call him grandpa. Guchensi looked through the medical records and told her the general situation of the old man. Gong Qinli sighed after hearing this. This old man is half dead in the grave. He is not critically ill, but it is impossible for him to regain his physical condition. Guchensi raised his eyes to look at her and suddenly asked, "Are you worried about disguising your identity?" Yes, speaking of this, Gong Qinli just wanted to sigh. I agreed temporarily, but it's not an option in the long run. Although she was kind-hearted in pretending to make the old man happy, to put it bluntly, she had nothing to do with the old man. It was okay to do this kind of thing for a day or two. After a long time, she herself was not so patient to coax people. "You mean well. I really wish I had a harder heart now, that way I wouldn't have to worry about so many things. You don't know, although the grandpa is very kind and the child is cute, they are not related to me, nor are they familiar with me. In fact, I feel awkward every time I go there, but I have to cooperate with them in acting." "Then don't go." "I have also thought about it, but will the sudden disappearance bring greater harm to the old man?" The reason why she couldn't bear it was because every time she saw the old man's vicissitudes of life and kind expression, her heart so soft. "You are such a contradictory woman. What's wrong with me? I've wronged myself and it's not enough to complain." Gong Qinli's true nature emerged. When she realized who she was talking to, her teeth trembled. What did she just do? Complained and complained to Guchensi, and also exposed his little temper? This is so embarrassing. Fortunately, she is thick-skinned and does not blush easily. Gong Qinli just wanted to run away quickly. Dr. Gu, you didn't hear anything just now, and I didn't say anything either. Goodbye. Etc. Gong Qinli was very fast, so Guchensi grabbed her arm without shouting. Gong Qinli's eyes couldn't help but fall on the palm with white fingers and long sleeves. He, is there anything else you can do for Dr. Gu? Guchensi immediately let go of his hand, and then asked, have you seen my mother? Mrs. Gu? Gong Qinli answered truthfully, I've seen it. That time, Mrs. Gu took the initiative to go to their palace and saw her. She didn't mean anything else, but Guchensi had misunderstood. He continued to ask, you also told her that I am different to you. Stop it, conscience of heaven and earth, I didn't say anything. Do you know that everyone in the Gu family now thinks that you are my girlfriend and I am going to marry you? What? This news is so exciting that she can't bear it? Dr. Gu, I swear, I never said these words. Have you ever thought about it? End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1047. Chapter 1047 starts with Luo confessing to you. Guchensi asked her directly and clearly if she had ever thought about being his girlfriend. That must be, I have thought about it. This is the truth, she had always thought so 2 months ago. Gong Qinli breathed out and was about to explain everything to him at once. I really didn't tell Mrs. Gu or anyone else that I was your girlfriend. They must have misunderstood. Misunderstanding. Guchensi muttered these 2 words softly, and then said, that doesn't matter. Gong Qinli, what do you mean? Since you all wish so, then so be it. Gong Qinli. Did she have auditory hallucinations or misunderstood what Guchensi said? Wait a minute, what do you mean? Forgive me, I really didn't understand. I don't mean what I mean clearly enough. You want to be my girlfriend, and the Gu family thinks so, then it's as you wish. When Guchensi said this, his expression remained unchanged, but there was a slight fluctuation in his eyes. But I'm sorry, this sentence really irritated Gong Qinli. Dr. Gu, even if you don't like me, you can't act so reluctantly. The process is not the focus, the result is. But I'm sorry. Even if I, Gong Qinli, liked you before, I wouldn't have wronged myself so much. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding with Aunt Gu, and I will try my best to explain it. She had thought that Guchensi would explain to Mrs. Gu himself and show that there was no relationship between the two, so she did not go to Mrs. Gu to explain the situation, lest others think she was playing hard to get. But she really didn't expect that a man like Guchensi would actually compromise with the family's arrangements. It's simply terrible. However, she didn't want Mrs. Gu to think that she was playing hard to get, so this refusal made Guchensi misunderstood. Play hard to get, women like this. Guchensi has never liked to be close to women, because those women have too many thoughts and he is too lazy to explore them. Even though this genius in the medical field has a high IQ, his emotional intelligence is negative. In Guchensi's opinion, all the women he knew were similar. Thought that Gong Qinli had tried every means to get close to him regardless of her identity, but when he really agreed, Gong Qinli refused. Other than play hard to get, he really couldn't think of any other reason. Gong Qinli raised her head and said, Dr. Gu, I really didn't play any tricks. I don't want to think about emotional matters right now. I'm sorry for the trouble I've caused you. I'll try to be more careful in the future. Guchensi asked, when you appear in the hospital and stay in the ward, do you really have no selfish motives at all? Gong Qinli told him categorically, there was before, but not now. Guchensi still remembers that Gong Qinli suffered a foot injury. In order to stay in the hospital and be close to him, he was forced to stay in the hospital. She found excuses to harass him every day. Gong Qinli is so noisy, how could he ignore it? When Mrsku earnestly tried to persuade him to start a family, the possible candidate that flashed in his mind turned out to be Gong Qinli. There are many suitors around him, but no one has persisted for so many years. Whether he likes it or not, Gong Qinli is always a little different in his memory. Miss Gong, where is the dividing line between your past and your present? I don't understand what the dividing point you are talking about. Gu Chenxi sneered and pointed out directly, it started when Luo confessed to you. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lu Kixi. Chapter 1048. Chapter 1048, the Gu family is going to pay a betrothal gift, you should be worried. Da-da. Boom. As Gu Chenxi approached, Gong Qinli took one step back and bumped into the door. Sure enough, when I heard Luo's name, my reaction was so big. Don't talk nonsense. In the name of liking me, in the end, because of Luo's confession, my mind was completely disturbed. I don't. Gu Chenxi saw through it without saying anything. Where is she not here? It's obviously a profound influence. The refusal that was eloquent and calm just now is now only a perfunctory denial, and there is no clear explanation at all. Gu Chenxi said calmly, since you don't have it, why not be my girlfriend? Make it easier for everyone and make the most of this matter. Gong Qinli asked back, in your opinion, things like feelings are measured by the effects they produce. In Gu Chenxi's thinking, he believes in a truth, no matter who you are, everything you do has a purpose. That's not the case, Gong Qinli retorted, just take the fact that I pretended to be the grandfather's daughter to accompany him. Do I have any intentions towards him? It doesn't count as an attempt, but the purpose of doing this is to make him feel at ease. Me, the purpose she thought was different from the purpose mentioned by Gu Chenxi. Gu Chenxi, I don't think we can talk anymore. Gong Qinli lowered her head and sighed. Her strong arrogance just now instantly weakened her appearance, because she could hardly take Gu Chenxi's comments any longer. Gu Chenxi lowered his eyes, seemed silent for a moment, and said calmly, go out. Okay, bye. Gong Qinli waved goodbye at this moment, and Gong Qinli did it very smoothly. She used to wish she could spend more time with Gu Chenxi, but maybe people have bad nature, and the best thing is what they can't get. Gong Qinli thought about finding a reason not to come to the hospital. The old man is not a dying patient. She is a person with her own life. She cannot stay for several years for a stranger, right? However, before Gong Qinli left the hospital and before she had time to explain to Mrsku unilaterally began to prepare the betrothal gift. Gong Qinli did good things in the hospital, and almost everyone thought she was doing it for Gu Chenxi. Especially when Mrs. Gong came to ask her specifically, we all know those things, are you looking for an excuse to go to the hospital to accompany the doctor again? You were shy last time. You said you are still shy with me. Gong Qinli couldn't argue, Mom. This matter is really a misunderstanding. I didn't go there just for Gu Chenxi. Come on, stop covering it up. Last time you were forced to stay in the hospital because of Dr. Gu. It was the same before, but it's different now. Really or falsely, you have to tell me the truth. It's too late, Mrsku has already asked someone to deliver the betrothal gift. Mrsku was very happy. She couldn't help but go there even though she didn't attend a ladies' exchange circle all year round, hinting that good things were coming for her eldest son. Before the matter was completely finalized, Mrsku did not reveal the identity of the other party, but in addition to the Gu family and the Gong family, the Nangong family naturally also knew the inside story. Nangong family. Mrs. Nangong, Luo I heard today that the Gu family has hired someone from the Gong family. Nangong Luo didn't respond, but the tip of the pen in his hand fell on the paper, leaving heavy marks. Mrs. Nangong sighed deeply. While she felt sorry for her son, she had to remind him, this time, you should be more careful. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 1049. Chapter 1049, Giving Birth to the Heir to the Nangong Family. You are no longer a child. You are the only male in our Nangong family. You must leave the next generation of heirs. Mom, I know. What about the meeting I arranged for you before? I promise. Hearing what Nangong Lugo Yingyo said, Mrs. Nangong breathed a sigh of relief. There was no overly happy expression on her face, but her mood was really relaxed. Good boy, it will be good if you agree. Mrs. Nangong's so-called arrangement is to get Nangong Lugo married. Nangong Lugo's current situation is no longer just about letting young people talk after a blind date. As long as he feels that the other person's character is okay, whether he likes it or not, the family will consider a direct marriage. After Mrs. Nangong left, Nangong Lugo picked up the pen and made a circle and a cross on the paper. When he thought about the responsibilities that fell on his shoulders, he sometimes felt a little breathless. The next generation, successor. How can he leave a child with another woman? The Nangong family selected 3 people based on the information of girls of appropriate age, and then asked Nangong Lugo to meet with them respectively. Nangong Lugo pointed casually, that's it? He didn't even know who he had chosen after choosing, but he just showed up as promised. The woman opposite had a mature style. After the two met, Nangong Lugo had no intention of chatting. The other woman's expression was also very serious, not shy at all. The woman suddenly made a request, I want to change to a private room. Nangong Lugo raised his eyebrows and did not refute. Okay. I don't know what the other party's intention was. After changing to a private room, Nangong Lugo calmly faced the woman face to face. Neither of them seemed to have the consciousness of being in a blind date. But as a man, Nangong Lugo couldn't be too rude even if he didn't like it. When he was about to take the initiative to announce the commercial marriage, the other party raised his hand and pressed it on the table, making a bang sound. Already know each other's names before meeting. Since it is not for a blind date, there is no need to introduce ourselves. The woman who was on a blind date with Nangong Lugo was called Zhong Yun. Zhong Yun is not like those shy women who come for a blind date, she has a clear purpose. Mr. Nangong, we all know the reason for coming here today, but I can tell you clearly that I have a boyfriend. Oh, so, why is Miss Zhong coming? Zhong Yun sat back and sighed, you also know that we are born in this kind of family. Many things are out of our control. To be honest, my boyfriend's family does not have any status background, so they do not agree. So, I heard that young Master Nangong is not willing to marry, so I want to try my luck and see if we can reach an agreement. You say. We pretend to be boyfriend and girlfriend, you are free to do your own thing, and I am free to be with my boyfriend. Since your family doesn't agree now, they may not agree in the future. It's just that I haven't thought of the best solution for the time being. It can only be postponed for a while. Zhong Yungan explained her affairs clearly. She only needed to wait for Nangong Lugo's answer. Mr. Nangong, if you find someone you like or someone you want to marry, we can terminate the agreement at any time. How about it? For people like us who have no intention of getting married, this deal is a good deal. Zhong Yun has nothing to hide. Her calmness made this matter very simple. Nangong Lugo suddenly stood up. End of this chapter. My green plums are super sweet. Author, Lukixi. Chapter 1050. Chapter 1050. This kid finally figured it out. Nangong Luo suddenly stood up and stretched out a hand to his blind date Zhong Yun. Zhong Yun understood clearly, "Have a nice date, boyfriend." Nangong Luo nodded unequivocally and said, "It's a pleasure to cooperate." After learning that Nangong Luo and Zhong Yun, the daughter of the Zhong family, had a successful blind date, Mrs. Nangong laughed happily. "The big stone hanging in my heart finally fell. Yes, yes, this child is finally enlightened." Not only is Mrs. Nangong happy, everyone in the Nangong family feels that Nangong Luo has finally grown up and become sensible, and is a good man who is capable and responsible. The two had a successful blind date, and both families were very happy. Nangong Luo and Zhong Yun themselves were in pretty good moods. Of course, they are happy that they can still guarantee their freedom. This news spread to the outside world, and some people were still worried. Ye Weiwei, who was raising her baby at home, was anxious and wanted to call Gong Qinli to say something, but after hesitating for a long time, the call was never made. Of course, even if she didn't say anything, the Gong family would soon receive the news. "The little cousin is the most noisy, I don't want brother Luo to find a girlfriend." Gong's family told him not to talk nonsense, so he ran away, locked his room and called Nangong Luo to cry. Nangong Luo gently explained a lot of truth to him on the phone, and the little cousin reluctantly calmed down. After a while, the little cousin ran to Gong Qinli again. "Sister, did you hear the news they said? Brother Luo is looking for a girlfriend." "I know. Sister, aren't you angry?" Gong Qinli stared at her little cousin and took a deep breath. She called Nangong Luo when she turned around and asked him, "Miss Zhong, are you serious?" Nangong Luo was silent for a long time, then responded, "Yeah." Gong Qinli hung up the phone directly, and the two never contacted each other again. After that, Nangong Luo often dates with Zhong Yun. But in fact, every time they go out in the name of a date, they all go their own ways. When necessary, Nangong Luo and Zhong Yun will meet Zhong Yun's boyfriend, Fang Yu. Fang Yu and Zhong Yun seem to have a really good relationship. The three of them reached an agreement, "No one else can tell this matter except the three of us." Although Fang Yu was a little unhappy when Nangong Luo and Zhong Yun announced that they were together, he was more grateful. Fang Yu was unhappy that he did not have a family background that matched Zhong Yun, but he was grateful that Nangong Luo was willing to accompany him and his girlfriend to perform such a play. Nangong Luo and I have reached an agreement now. Our external relationship can only be broken up, otherwise it will affect the face of both families, and Mr. Nangong will no longer be able to cover for us. I know, don't worry, Yuner, I will definitely work hard in the future. Fang Yu and Zhong Yun were constantly thinking of ways in private, but they couldn't let others know that they were still together, so Fang Yu and Zhong Yun announced their breakup on the surface. At the same time, Fang Yu is obviously more motivated than before. Colleagues in the police station all thought that Fang Yu turned grief and anger into strength because of a broken relationship, and even Gong Qinli didn't know. "Fang Yu, even if you are broken up in love, you don't have to fight so hard." Fang Yu waved his hand, "You don't understand. His current efforts are to be able to be with his girlfriend openly as soon as possible, but he cannot tell the secret to others." End of this chapter.